Hello, everyone. Welcome to another round of the Galactic Pod Racing Circuit. It's between acE and NachoBrado, and I'm Game Draco, joined by my longtime friend and rival in the game, Mikey Berger. And we're starting off with a tradition between these two players for the past two tournaments in Anakin versus Saboba on Bunta Classic.
Yeah, hello and thank you. Yep, this should be a very fun match. Two very good players. I don't expect acE will have it all his own way either. I really do think that. I don't want to put too much pressure on Nacho, but I do expect him to take a few off acE here at the very least. And who knows? Maybe he can pull out a win. That'd be cool.
Yeah. So, both players are ready. We can give the countdown. I'm not so sure which ones are starting. I feel like Nacho might be compromising himself. I'm a little concerned. Hopefully they get the notice. Okay. Okay, both get it. We're good. A little concerned for a second, but here we go.
Yeah, this should be a fun first race, actually.
Yeah. Ooh.
acE losing the boost a little bit on the first section.
Very problematic with Saboba when his booster is so atrocious.
Yeah, you definitely got to be careful of those off-road sections. Yeah, it looks like Nacho's doing pretty well at the moment. We're both going for the off-road section.
Ooh. Yep, both of them doing it.
Yeah, there's a lot of places in this game where the off-road is like not really off-road, so you kind of need to know the game pretty well, like where those places are. You can take advantage of some shorter lines in some places.
Yeah.
Maintaining his lead here, though, which is good. I mean, Anakin is obviously a little bit faster than Saboba with when both pods are upgraded.
Yep. Saboba's actually the slowest pod fully upgraded.
Yeah, I think that was a genuine mistake. I don't think that was intended to be the case, but yeah, just unfortunate.
Oh, yeah, that was bad bonk. Nacho took. Got paired into the red. And we're going into it. 153, 154.
Yeah, it can happen sometimes.
Oh, that was a really bad thing. They both do it. Ooh. That was hair raising, acE did.
Taking it very, very safe in the chicane section. Yeah, this is very close though. And I believe they've done this all 3 years so far.
Yes. Yes, they've done this all 3 years.
Yeah, both players being fairly careful for this first race, I think.
Yeah.
Looks like Nacho has a higher base speed than acE somehow. I'm not quite sure how that happened. That's interesting.
I think Anakin has slightly better acceleration than Sebulba.
Yeah, probably not too significant. Particularly upgraded pods. But yeah, this is very close.
Yeah.
What we'd like to
Oh
see.
dear. Nearly dodges. Oh no! Not two crashes. That might have sealed it right there, because you cannot
Yeah.
count on Ace crashing. He's scarily consistent.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate actually for Nacho.
Oh, and misses the shortcut even more.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to catch it without a death because they had roughly the same pace on the first 2 laps.
Yeah.
So it relies
At
heavily on
this,
acE making a mistake here.
yeah. And you really cannot count on it. Dealing with Ace, you're dealing with literally like the top player in the history of this game, pretty much.
So we can see just how much slower Sebulba is compared to Ben on this track. With acE already at, I don't think he's crashed, and he's already on 5 minutes, over 5 minutes now. Usually we see times under 5 minutes with Ben on this track.
Yep.
Yeah, unfortunate start though for Nacho. Definitely.
541 was Sebulba. That's really fast for Sebulba.
I couldn't tell you honestly, but I mean it's acE, so probably yeah.
We already got the Permabands in. Yeah, the Permabands in are from Ace, Bumpy's Breakers, and Fire Mountain Rally, and from NachoBrado, Doug Derby, and Baru Coast.
Interesting that acE bans Bumpies. Maybe he doesn't want to have to deal with the skip, perhaps, because I know he's good at the full track there. So interesting. And Fire Mountain Rally, actually, I'm quite surprised by both of acE's picks, actually. Maybe he doesn't want to allow Nacho to play him with no bullseye on Fire Mountain Rally.
Well, I know another reason why he permabans it is because when dealing with a really consistent player, Fire Mountain Rally can be more advantageous. And we have a Bulls ban and a Malistar 100 ban. Spice Mine Run.
They're both very good at this track. There's a few things that Nacho is really, really good at. And yeah, it's important really that acE sort of avoids those, I think. So yeah, there's no additional forces here other than the immediate bowls ban, so it should be a very straightforward race. Both players will pick Ben for this, Ben Cordinaris, who's the best pod for the game with upgrades. So yeah, he's just doing some fine tuning to his setups for his pod. It's strategically advantageous in some cases to downgrade particular attributes to improve things like cornering. And we also see some frame rate changes as well. So there are a lot of game physics that are beneficial to seeing changes in the frame rate because it affects certain mechanics in the game, particularly the sliding function. So you get more sliding when you use lower frame rates. And the slide is a function you can use where you rather induce it by pressing a button, so it induces a sliding movement, which can be used, when it's used correctly, it allows you to take corners tighter at the same speed. So it's an advantage.
Yeah. Also with this track too is that if you delay the opening sequence, you'll get the dozer in a better position for the final lap, because if you just go straight to starting the race for Spice Mine Run, what happens on the third lap on a really fast pace, which both players are capable of doing, you can have the dozer in a very precarious spot, and if you don't do it right, you'll crash into it.
Yeah, it's a rather unfortunate aspect of the game, really, because I don't think anyone's ever going to save enough time to avoid that particular problem by ignoring the cutscene. So I think it's rather an essential factor, really, for this track. I mean, other than that, there aren't really too many serious hazards or anything, so it's a pretty straightforward track. You just have to play better.
Yeah. Definitely. And this is a track that really tests your boost timing, because it's so easy to abuse the booster here, and that makes you slower overall.
Yeah, for less experienced players, it's a very natural thing just to keep pressing the boost, and then it heats up to the max, and then you press it again before you've completely cooled off. So you end up just re-accelerating like permanently, and that means that you're not spending much of your time actually gaining and accumulating the speed of using your boost, which is what you want to do. You want to use, want to perform very long boosts as infrequently as you can on such a track as this.
Well, it looks like Nacho went straight forward to just skipping the cutscene, and acE let it sit for a little bit.
Yeah, so that might be significant on the final lap. We'll have to remember to keep an eye out for that. Very close at the moment. Looks like Nacho might be slightly ahead even at the moment.
Not anymore! Oh, that is a painful death to take.
Yeah, probably one of the more likely spots to die on this track, actually.
Yeah, I know you talked about how occasionally you would get a little overzealous on the boost there and crash into it.
Yeah, it's very difficult, particularly on the final lap, because it's very important that you actually boost through that section on lap 3 as opposed to laps 1 and 2 where you don't. So it suddenly becomes a lot more dangerous, that section on the final lap, just for that reason. Yeah, it's very unfortunate for Nacho, really. It's pretty much impossible to catch up, really, at this point, unless acE crashes himself.
And of all the tourney participants, oh no, not again!
That's the same place he crashed last time, wasn't it?
Crashed it in the same spot, only in the opposite direction.
Yeah, rough for Nacho.
Wonder if his mental game got thrown out of whack from that Bunta Classic start.
Yeah, it's possible. There's certainly a lot of psychology in racing games, particularly this one. But yeah, acE looking very smooth here, very comfortable on this track. He's cruising towards the finish, so we'll see this section, how he does with this final section.
.341.
Yeah, nice time. Nice time. So yeah, it will be Nacho's pick again. All the time a player loses a track, it will be their honour to pick the next track and scenario forces they wish to use.
Then banned from Nacho. He is well ride banned from acE. So Bulba's legacy.
Oh, interesting. acE banned Master 100, the previous track, and now with Ben being taken out, he's changed that to Bedos, so that's kind of interesting. I mean, obviously we know Nacho's very good on Master 100 in certain variations. And Sebulba's legacy, I think if I had to guess, I think Nacho would go with Bullseye, and I think acE will go with something like Bowls or Mars. Maybe even Ellen Mac, there's quite a few possible pod choices I think he might pick, but I don't think that acE will go with Bullseye here.
Yeah, because I know that was so Bullseye would be more competitive with banning Ben on the track.
Yeah, we saw Metallica play NachoBrado on this circuit as well. Didn't go particularly well, unfortunately, for Metallica. I think he picked Ben in that scenario, and he had the advantage that Ben does, but then crashed, unfortunately, I think twice on lap 3, which allowed Nacho to get ahead. His Bullseye is very consistent on the section in question.
Yep, and acE going with Mars, who's also really consistent on it.
Yeah, the biggest problem with Mars is just his width. He's just such a wide pod. It can be really tricky to avoid some of the narrow sections.
Yeah, he's the widest pod in the game.
Yeah, it does seem like when you have two very good players up against each other, it does a lot of the time come down to a death because, typically you're losing sort of 5 seconds from a death, and that's not really the sort of margin that you're going to see between two very good players. So, like if you have a sort of a mismatch, between the players, then you can, on some occasions, particularly on some tracks as well, look like you can afford a few deaths and still win the race just because you're so much quicker. But on a lot of the tracks, you really can't make up that much time.
Yeah. Also, the winner of this match will advance to the winner's final, which would guarantee third place at the minimum. And the loser will be knocked into the loser's bracket in the match between Banabo Kid and Lightning Pirate, the winner of that.
Yeah, definitely.
Uh-oh!
Yeah, Nacho taking an unusual amount of deaths this match, so I don't know. Maybe they say maybe it's getting to him a little bit. You have to sort of try and forget about what's already happened and just focus on the race you're doing. But yeah, we definitely have some fun matches coming up, though.
Yeah. But yeah, acE is just such a frightening player to go against, though.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I was a little bit uncomfortable playing acE, but that's what you'd expect, really.
Oh, those bad bonks set him up for a crash like that, and 148 with Mars.
Yeah, that's a very good time with Mars Guo, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do feel that there is some psychology, or I don't know, some fatigue, or whatever it is. I think it's affecting Nacho a little bit because he's definitely crashing a lot more frequently than he has done in previous matches.
Okay, Ban, beat as well, Ride Band. We're going to Malostar 100, no upgrades.
That's interesting, yeah, because like I sort of said before, I sort of found it interesting that acE swapped his pick, his temporary track ban pick, which is the honor of the winner of the previous race, to allow Nacho to do this.
Well, I remember hearing about how Be As Well Ride is one of acE's weaker tracks. Oh, and we have to check to see if the parts are stocked, too.
Back again, huh?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Both players have their parts all stock.
Of course, they actually need to pick the same save file that they're actually showing the performance parts for. Although I think they probably will. Yeah, this is definitely a weapon for Nacho. I think he really needs to win this race. I think just for psychological reasons, perhaps.
Yes.
You see there, Nacho using 30 frames per second as his setup. And bowls with no upgrades is incredibly slippery, so with 30 frames, it's even worse. Bowls is slippery even on 60 frames for no upgrades.
Yeah, but it's that final hairpin that makes it so optimal to use super low frame rates.
Yeah, definitely. It's just quite tricky. I think if you go from using, like, say, Ben with max upgrades or any upgraded pod, because the traction is often if you just set it to up maximum traction and then you play bowls with like minimal traction, it's quite a shocking difference. Like, you can easily be thrown off by that.
And the boost timings are really critical here without upgrades because you cannot boost anywhere near as close as you can fully upgraded, and even the slightest bonk can be fatal to a run.
Yeah, I think the mechanic of this game, the physics of this game, the game physics rather, that make it so much more important in that regard, is that you don't lose speed when you corner, which obviously is not what happens in real life, because obviously it takes energy to change momentum. But so like you say, it becomes very, very critical that they don't lose any of that speed, just because it takes so long to gain it back. So obviously over enough time.
Oh, and those were two bonks Nacho took that were pretty massive. Oh, crashes! Really falling apart for Nacho.
Oh yeah, that's really, really rough.
Oh, really rough. He didn't have enough momentum with Bowles' abysmal no upgrade acceleration to clear the jump, and crashes on the hairpin.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, it's just falling apart for him.
I always thought like it was meant to respawn you like at a distance where you could clear the jump still, but maybe that's not the case then, I guess.
It happened in the match between Digital Unity and Magius last year with Fire Mountain Rally, and oh, it's just falling apart for him completely. I think the pressure's really getting to him.
Yeah, I think he's definitely suffering from pressure in this match. Very nice time from acE though, 2:16.2.
Yeah.
Time. No upgrades for bowls. Yeah, very uncharacteristic performance from Nacho. Yeah, that's seriously mean. That ramp where it doesn't give you enough speed to get over that. That's really cruel. I didn't know it could be quite so mean.
Same Ben Beals ride ban. Okay, Nacho just said let's have some fun. Oh dear. Gauntlet. Skips. No upgrades. Here we go. The first no upgrades dual skip simultaneously of the tournament.
Yeah, I know you've been looking forward to this one, Game Draco.
Yes. finally happens. And Nace just said, Nacho, please, someone had to.
I've never tried no upgrades on this skip, so I can't really comment.
Yeah. I did this. I think Ace and I are the only ones to do it so far, so it'll be interesting to see. Mars is pretty reliable with it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've never done it, but if I had to pick, I would go with Mars here, probably without much doubt, just because he can probably make the skip, I imagine.
Yep, both Ace and I use Mars for it with no upgrades.
I'm guessing Juan Sandage maybe can do it.
Back again, huh?
Yeah, I think this is the first time, at least that I'm aware of, that I've seen a no upgrades skips combination for the same race. Unless you've seen one already, Game Draco.
No, this is the absolute first of the first.
Well, Ace is playing with balls, interestingly, so I wonder what he's going to do here. There are obviously more than one variation of the skip you can use.
Though the one that they're doing in the Rockwall ride is the one that we found back in the day.
Yeah.
Yep, he's going with Mars.
Yeah, okay. I think he took one look at balls there, and it didn't look like it worked so well. So obviously, it doesn't matter how fast your pod is if you're not going to make the jump, then it doesn't matter. So
And Mars is by far the most reliable with the jump.
yeah, I'm guessing Ben can do it, but I don't think anyone can do that consistently.
Particularly with no upgrades, it's fairly consistent at 60 frames per second max upgrades, but not so much.
Yeah, I mean with no upgrades. Yeah, with upgrades you can do this with Ben. It's okay, but with no upgrades, I imagine that's a little bit unpleasant. So the countdown's been given now, so the actual race should be starting just a few seconds. Well,
Oh no! But then this track, you can't really call it yet because the skip is really easy to fail here.
Yeah,
So Nacho is not completely out of the race yet.
Yeah, he just doesn't look comfortable somehow. Yeah, we do see there actually as well, the boost timing can be potentially an issue over that short off-road section. You don't think about that normally. Oh, he's missed, but is he going to make the... Okay, so he's made the skip with the crash.
Yep.
So obviously if you respawn further up back before the jump, that can be very bad. And Ace taking a crash but didn't get stuck.
Yeah. 113.
No, it's like just don't want to see it.
120. Uh-oh.
we just see the painfully slow acceleration of Mars, no upgrades.
Yeah.
It's still very
still
fast, but it just looks like it's really slow by comparison. Oof. Okay, Ace makes it.
It's fairly even now.
Yeah, got to watch for that ceiling as well. It's very easy to crash into. I mean, I assume that Nacho's prepared this.
I'm not so sure, because so far for Gauntlet Skip, no upgrade skips, I think only Ace and I have a time for it, officially.
Well, yeah, but of course that doesn't mean he hasn't prepared it. He just might not divulge it.
Probably. Here comes the final decider. This is going to come down to who makes the skip and who doesn't, pretty much.
Yeah, this is the most important part.
Ace crashes but makes it.
Yeah, it's so difficult to get onto that platform because you can't see the walls are invisible, so they extend a lot higher than what you actually see. So there's an invisible wall there, and you have to land between them. So you have a track width to essentially try and drop your pod on, which is hundreds of feet tall. So it's very difficult to go to that. That's why they're having so much difficulty getting that.
Yeah. Spice Mine run, NU Salty run back, and Nacho has exhausted all his forces. And Ace just replied back. He said with the gauntlet skip, no upgrades, he said, definitely did not see that coming. And then Nacho said, might as well stay on the NU train, and Ace replied back, I did see that one coming though.
Yeah, Nacho, this is definitely one of his best picks in my opinion. I played this against him last year, and it was incredibly close. I was actually very surprised that he managed to beat me on this track, if I'm honest. But he did a great job there. So hopefully he can do the same thing against Ace this year. He definitely has chances of winning this if he can he just needs to try and hold it together and just try and take a win here, really.
Yeah, and this is his last solid chance, probably.
Back again! Huh?
Yeah, so they should both be picking bowls. Well, I hope so, because anything else would be a serious disadvantage. Yeah, hopefully they both show that they're using no upgrades.
Because we've been doing no upgrades in a row, we don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, that's true. As long as they use the same profile. Yeah, you have to be very, very precise in this situation. No balls, no upgrades on Spice Mine Run. Even the slightest little knock against a wall or something can easily lose you the race here.
Yeah. Solid time with bowls on this track is under 450 without upgrades.
Yeah, I mean, they can both do like a 442 here, I think. And this is the actual race, I believe.
Yeah, I think so too. Because of no upgrades, the Dozer isn't in that precarious spot in the final lap.
Yeah, the difference in pace means it won't be an issue, fortunately, so that's not going to be a deciding factor in this race. See ACE boosting earlier after the excavator, just down through the tunnel section. Virtually identical non-boost speeds at the moment. Obviously, when you're trying to decide who's ahead or not, you have to look at the heat bars, which we see.
And there goes a bonk that just cost Nacho 20-something units of speed.
Yeah, that's very, very bad, unfortunately. I mean, I do hope this isn't going to be a 7-0, really. But yeah, it takes a very long time for the pods to cool down with no upgrades, and the cooling is linked to the boost. It's actually the only factor that determines essentially when you can't boost. So if the engines just get too hot when you boost, so you have to cool down for a certain period of the track, and obviously that needs to be managed effectively. So cooling down occurs when you're not boosting. That's why we see them, they're not boosting all the time. Yeah, we can see now after a lap how much of that difference that change in speed has meant. We see that Nacho has gained some speed back, but you can see it's not as much as it, still not as high as...
Not anymore! Oh, that's a really bad crash. Crashes with no upgrade bowls are really catastrophic unless you take a massive amount of damage. Oh, and that is a real, even worse crash he took.
Yeah, I think his head's just gone really here. I think that's the problem, if I'm honest. The thing is, you have days like this as well. Like, you know, some days you play a lot better than others. It's just one of those things. You know, if you schedule the matches, and you know, you have days where you feel like racing, and the days you don't, and you sort of just hope that you feel up for it on the day, really.
I wonder how much stemmed just from those crashes, that crash and miss on Punta Classic at the very beginning.
Yeah, I think for some players, perhaps a lot of players even, it can be rather destructive psychologically to lose your first race in such a way.
I feel like it's a double whammy for losing that way, but also the fact that he's under the pressure of dealing with such a formidable player as acE. 444.
Yeah, decent time from acE, but yeah, Nacho definitely could have won this if he'd have just kept it clean. I think when I played him, he did a 442.9 on this track.
Scrappers run. This is match point for acE, and this is Nacho's final pick.
Yeah, this will be Nacho's final pick, and if he still wants to try and win this, he would need to win against all of acE's picks, because it will be acE who picks the remaining tracks after this now. So the pod ban was Anakin, which means they're going to be playing Ben Quadinaris. Ben Quadinaris is the best pod on the majority tracks. There's 2 which he isn't, but for most of them he is. Okay, they're both saying that they're ready.
Potentially the final match coming up.
Yeah, hopefully Nacho can take a win here. I mean, he won't be out of the tournament if he loses. It just means that he will be in the losers bracket. So I don't know, maybe he just might want to sort of save his energy a little bit for later matches, but hopefully it won't be a 7-0. Okay, this is the race.
Oh, that's a worse, awful spot to pause. Both nearly avoid the death wall.
Yeah, not kind of a tense place to pause the stream.
It's a new lap record.
Yeah, acE used.
Ooh! Nacho hit the death wall but didn't die.
Yeah, I think acE is getting ahead slightly here. He used the speed tube a little bit better. The high speed tube is giving him a little bit of an advantage, I think.
It's a new lap record.
Although he took a knock there.
Final lap. Both avoid the death wall. acE pulling slightly ahead now.
Yeah, I think Nacho...
Crashing and falling off the cliff. There's the decider.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate for Nacho, really.
Ace takes this, advancing to the winners final, and Nacho gets knocked into the losers bracket to face the winner of Banana Boat Kid versus Lightning Pirate.
Yeah, it seems like maybe Ace is psyching out a lot of players here.
Hey Ace!
Hello there. Well, I think Nacho can't do an interview, but still GG's to Nacho.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Oh,
quite...
no interview for me. Oh, I just saw. So we're just interviewing Ace. So advancing on to the winners final, the face King Bean Dip.
Yeah, once again.
Yeah, interesting temp ban changes from you, Ace, I thought. Like banning Milestone 100 initially and then switching to Bedos. I guess, was that just because of the pod ban? So because he changed from Bowls to Ben?
Yeah, exactly. I was prepared for M100 no upgrades, but I didn't really practice it with Ben. I only practiced it with Bowls. So when he banned Bowls, I was like, okay, I'll just ban M100.
Okay, that makes sense.
And had he banned Bullseye, I would have temp banned Grapevine Gateway because he likes to do Grapevine and Neva King. So
Yeah.
that was my plan.
Yeah, I wondered about that. I guess, was that why you banned Fire Mountain Rally as a permanent? Yeah.
Exactly.
I was interested about your Bumpy's ban as well. That got me wondering.
Well, Nacho has shown that he's actually pretty good at the full track. I think he got a 434 in tournament the other day. So that was pretty impressive.
That's
And
true, actually. Yeah.
on top of that, I couldn't be bothered with the skip. Yeah,
Well,
it
that's
hasn't been nice to me in this tournament so far.
that's a fair enough reason, I think. Yeah. But yeah, I think that I think you just psyched him out, Ace, to be honest, or maybe he was having a bad day. I don't know, but he seemed to be crashing a lot today, unfortunately.
Yeah, honestly, I think he definitely didn't have his best day because I expected all of the no upgrade matches to be quite close because of what he had shown previously. So, yeah, I thought M100 and SMR would come down to like less than a second, but unfortunately he crashed. So, yeah.
I'm not going to lie. I expected him to take a few wins off you, actually, Ace.
I mean, honestly, if he was on top of his game, I think he would have taken at least 2 no upgrade picks because my times on M100 and SMR weren't particularly good compared to what I had gotten in training and what he had gotten before. So, yeah.
Yeah, I was saying to Game Draco, I think that he got a 442 against me on Spice Mine Run no upgrades, and I think he won by just a few hundredths of a second on, I think, a couple of tracks as well. There was that one, and I think it was Scrappers as well. I think it was the same track you just played in the final race. Yeah, there was a lot more competitive. So yeah, like you say, definitely not performing his best, unfortunately. But I was saying, that it sort of happens sometimes because, we schedule matches and you can't always be playing your full strength for whatever reason, or you just don't feel like playing sometimes. So it's kind of understandable.
Yeah, I think the daily form is like a big part of this tournament. And once you notice, okay, I don't have the best of days, it also makes your mental game worse. Like if you know you're not on top of your game, you're gonna play even worse. So it happens, So I still think Nacho made like an incredible run so far in the tournament. Hardly anyone expected him to get to winner semis, and he did it. So yeah,
Yeah,
I think
sorry, Ace. Go on.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
I was just going to say he definitely played some fantastic races. Like you said, I'd forgotten about his bumpies. That's true. It was a very good time. I think he got a 434 there. And he did well to, take out Metallica from the winners bracket, certainly in his match. So, yeah, it's just unfortunate really that he didn't play quite so well today.
Well, the good thing is for him, he still has a really good shot of placing good in this tournament. Like, I think he's going to face a Banana Boat Kid or a Lightning Pirate in the next round, depending on who wins the losers round 3. And if he wins that one, he's already top 4. So,
yeah, it's definitely not over till it's over. Yeah, for sure. Because obviously, being in the losers bracket just means players can still end up potentially playing in the grand final, even if they lose a match fairly early in the winners bracket. So that's one of the good things about that setup. But yeah, it's definitely a long tournament. Very, very long process really, with the qualifying and then the round robins stage, and now finally this final bracket stage of the double elimination.
yeah, for sure. If I count this correctly, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 matches left. 8 matches left, actually, including grand finals. So it's actually, we're nearing the end of the tournament, but there's some very high stakes matches coming up, which is really cool.
Yeah, well, congrats from me anyway, Ace, on obviously continuing on. You'll be playing Bean Dip in your next match, so that'll be kind of the rematch. Obviously, everyone I think is going to be looking forward to that one.
Yeah, I think King Bean Dip definitely wants revenge for last year. I already mentioned. So let's see what happens. I'm definitely looking forward to face him. He's a great guy and good friend.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, King Bean Dip. I feel like, again, I think a bit like Nacho today. I think he definitely underperformed against you last year. When I think about how he played against me in one of my matches, so
yeah, no doubt about that.
I think maybe you just have this psychological effect on a lot of players. That's what I personally.
Well, I mean, I'll take it, Yeah, mental game is huge in the tournament. Especially if you have to play from behind, if you know you have to break serve, then each of your picks, there's so much pressure on you, because if if you lose on your pick as well when you're already behind, then it's such an uphill battle. So yeah, I think mental game in tournament is a huge factor, and probably responsible for some of these bad days you see players occasionally have.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously, by having a best of 13, I think that sort of negates the factor a little bit, because, I think obviously with more races, it means that, it should be generally a more fair representation of players' skill, I think, as opposed to just having just a few races, like 3 or 4, and then, could be 4-0, and it's just one of those things. So I think it's good in that sense, I think. But obviously, as well, more pressure on the players, just because obviously the matches are longer. You need to have more, prepared things you're going to pick against your opponent and stuff like that. So it's sort of requires more strategical thinking as well, I think.
Yeah, I agree, for sure.
Yeah, and these long matches that we're in now are really fatiguing. I know you mentioned that in a comment in the all the way to 13 match between Banana Boat Kid and Paige 2 days ago, Ace.
Yeah, it definitely takes a toll on the runner, and Mike knows this too. I think Mike is the player that has been in the most best of 13s, or rather the most actual track 13s. So I think Mike can attest to that it's very draining, especially towards the end.
Yeah, last year was very hard work, because I lost to King Mean Dip, unfortunately, fairly early, and I had to beat like so many players, and obviously, like I think both my match against King Mean Dip and you were both went to the final race, I think. So and then obviously with the oh no, we didn't play the second round, but yeah, it's definitely tough. Yeah, playing all those matches with so many so many races in each one. Obviously, the more matches you play, the more things you have to have prepared for the next match as well. So yeah, it's tough, definitely.
It is very fun to watch, though. Seeing a match go to the last track, to track 13, is always very exciting and a lot of fun to watch. But yeah, it's extremely hard on the runners, and you definitely got to be prepared.
Yeah, I would say there was 2 matches recently that were, we got to see the pleasure of some long matches. We saw obviously Banana Boat Kid, his match against Page, which was great, I thought, and then King versus Domre as well. That was another very good match to watch.
Yeah, for sure. There was a lot of fun and a lot of high-level racing for sure. I'm curious of what Domire can do from the losers bracket now, because we definitely haven't seen the last of him. I think he's gonna come back, and maybe he's even gonna make it to grand finals. I definitely wouldn't count it out.
Yeah, I feel the same way actually. So I'm very curious to see how that unfolds.
Yeah. I don't have much else to say, but good luck, and may the force be with you.
Thank you very much, and thanks for commentating today.
Welcome.
See ya.
Yeah.